Remain standing for our national anthem, played on the saxophone this afternoon by our own Jonathan Guimond. Good afternoon. A warm welcome on this pretty beautiful, if a little bit windy spring day here in Aroostook County. Welcome to faculty, staff, emeriti, to our elected officials, to our University of Maine System Board of Trustee representative, to our honorary degree recipients and our distinguished commencement speaker, to family, to friends, to honored guests, but most of all, an especially warm welcome to the University of Maine at Presque Isle class of 2026. I am Ray Rice, and I have the honor of serving as president of this university. As we begin today's commencement, it is only appropriate that we acknowledge that our sites and facilities are located on the ancestral homelands of the Mi'kmaq and Maliseet nations, who are connected to the other Wabanaki tribal nations, the Passamaquoddy and the Penobscot, on these lands that we today call the state of Maine, through kinship, through alliances, through diplomacy. It is with great gratitude and humility that we share this land with those who have lived and worked on it from time immemorial. We are here this afternoon for a truly extraordinary occasion as we join with the members of the class of 2026 in celebrating their commencement. In doing so, we also recognize the exceptional individuals who helped make today possible, the faculty, the staff, family, and friends who have stood beside these graduates in so many ways, large and small, during experiences that have demanded not merely persistence, but genuine courage, not merely patience, but profound purpose. Today would not have been possible without the months and even years of guidance and generosity of mentoring and modeling of instruction and inspiration that you have all provided them. I'm especially proud that since 1903, this institution has been part of a national movement dedicated to bringing public education and disciplinary knowledge to all citizens of this nation. And it is not without significance that its inaugural class way back then included 16 women and 1 man. 123 years later, the goal of equality and representation is not just a destination, but a discipline. It's a continuing struggle, one that we must undertake daily through an examination of how equality has and has not yet been achieved, protected, and maintained. But today, that is a far more realistic possibility than the inaugural class of 1903 could have imagined in their most utopian dreams. To be sure, today's graduating class shares values that our society needs now more than ever. Martin Luther King Jr. once observed that the function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically, and added, intelligence plus character. That is the goal of a true education. It would not be an overstatement to say that you, the class of 2026, embody precisely that fusion of intellect and integrity, of competence and conscience. You have demonstrated it through a dedication to public service, to private acts of decency, through an urgent and abiding concern for the environment, for sustainable living, through the recognition of the importance of collaboration across and within your communities, through the embrace of difference and the right of each individual to pursue a life of dignity and freedom from fear, regardless of race, gender, sexuality, creed, personal identity, and no less importantly, through the rejection of ideas that would limit or deny such dignity to anyone. John F. Kennedy exhorted us to think of education as the means of developing our greatest abilities, because in each of us, there is a private hope and dream which, fulfilled, can be translated into benefit for everyone and greater strength for our nation. At times, it may appear we live in a world that would have you believe otherwise, a time in which, as a theologian, Catherine Tanner has argued recently, the prevailing spirit encourages us to envision ourselves as individuals whose worth rises and falls with competitive positioning, and whose gains must too often come at the expense of others. Against that spirit, the education you have received here has taught you otherwise, that your value as a person is not reducible to your productivity, that your flourishing is not a private asset to be hoarded, but a communal good to be shared, that one person's success need not and should not require another's failure. Whether you remain here in Aroostook County or venture to points far beyond your home, wherever that may be, the education that you have received at UMPI has prepared you not merely for employment, though it has done that, we hope, and done that quite well, but for the far more demanding work of citizenship, the daily, often unglamorous, always essential labor of building and sustaining, of defending and deepening the communities and institutions upon which our democracy depends. In a time when public trust in institutions is tested and strained, you are living proof that public higher education, accessible and affordable, purposeful and persistent, unapologetically committed to the public good, remains among the greatest forces for human flourishing and democratic renewal that our society possesses. It is no small thing to have been supported by an institution that measures its success not by the exclusivity of its admissions, but by the breadth and depth of the lives it transforms. You are not only graduates, you are stewards of a democratic legacy. You are proof that where you come from need not determine where you're going, that what you look like need not circumscribe what you can accomplish, and how old you are when you begin need never dictate how far you can go. So welcome to the greatest day so far in this institution's august history, the 117th commencement of the University of Maine at Presque Isle. I would like now to introduce the members of our platform party behind me. Please hold your applause until I have introduced them all. So this year's honorary degree recipients, Sandra Govin, who will also serve as our commencement speaker, and David Watson. Patrick Flood, representing our University of Maine System Board of Trustees. Lucian Daigle, our representative for District 1. Who also attended UMFK's graduation this morning, drove all the way here to be here this afternoon. Alana Margison, the Vice President of Academic Affairs and our Provost. Dr. Leah Allen, Chair of the Faculty Assembly and Associate Professor of English. Matthew Campbell, Associate Vice President of Academic Affairs. Sarah Coyer, the Vice President of Student Affairs. Craig Cormier, the Executive Director of University Advancement, Adam Collins, representing our Board of Visitors at the University of Maine at Presque Isle, and Barbara Blackstone, President of the Alumni Association and Associate Professor of Exercise Science. Thank you all for being here. I am now pleased to introduce Professor Anatol Wieck and Margaret Jellison playing our alma mater, Rise Up Presque Isle, composed by Presque Isle's own Ellis Paul. I should note that Professor Wieck is a professor of violin at the University of Maine, which is celebrating its commencement this day as well. And each year he celebrates with us instead of at his own university. So we are so grateful for both he and Margaret for their playing today. Thank you. It is now my pleasure to introduce Patrick Flood, representing the University of Maine System Board of Trustees. Pat is a graduate of Syracuse University and SUNY's College of Environmental Science and Forestry, and he spent 30 years in forest management in New York and here in the state of Maine. He went on to serve in both the Maine House of Representatives and the Maine State Senate. His wife Marjorie, daughter Bria, and son Ben are all proud graduates of that same flagship I just mentioned a couple of hours to our south. Please welcome Trustee Pat Flood.
Thank you. Thank you very much, President Rice. President Rice, distinguished faculty, honored guests, proud families, and University of Maine at Presque Isle 2026 graduates. As a member of the University of Maine System Board of Trustees, it is an honor to be with you here today to celebrate your milestone. You know this already, but I just wanted to say it. As a graduate of the University of Maine at Presque Isle, you are graduating from one of the most innovative campuses in our country. You know it. We all know it. Your trustees are very, very proud of President Rice, this outstanding faculty, this outstanding community, and the hundreds of graduates here today and throughout the country. President Rice likes to incorporate new thinking into the processes here at UMPI. I'm sure that's no surprise to you. How often have you heard him say something like, expect the unexpected, or solve existing problems in a different way? This leadership at this campus has found new methods of reaching many students throughout the changing world by not only expecting the unexpected in higher education, but creating it. Graduates and families, today is the culmination, obviously, of countless hours of studying, late nights, and your perseverance. You chose a university known for its personalized education, creative methodologies, and community spirit. You have become part of an education legacy that will drive Maine forward. Another of President Rice's beliefs is to change aggressively, change completely. This huge number of graduates here today and this morning is proof to the success of such thinking. To the class of 2026, you are resilient, you're innovative, you are obviously ready. Take the grit and creativity you learned here and enjoy your successes. Expect the unexpected, but do expect a lot of it to be glorious. Find new growth opportunities, new ways of solving problems, and bringing positive change to the world. It's your time. Congratulations. Welcome to the ranks of University of Maine at Presque Isle alumni.
Now, Leah Allen, Chair of the Faculty Assembly, will bring you greetings from our faculty.
Greetings on behalf of the faculty at UMPI. Today marks the culmination, for many of you in this room, of years of hard work. You arrived here with ambitions, perhaps a little bit of uncertainty. You leave today with confidence in the knowledge and experiences you have gained. You also have practiced perseverance, integrity, and open-mindedness. In a world that often rewards speed over reflection and noise over substance, remember that getting a college education is not only about rising to the top of the economic ladder, it is also about having the space to encounter different perspectives, to dive into complex, messy, essential ideas, and face them with openness. The poet Adrienne Rich uses the metaphor of deep sea diving to express the search for meaning and learning. I go down, rung after rung, and still the oxygen immerses me in blue light, the clear atoms of our human air. I go down, my flippers cripple me, I crawl like an insect down the ladder, and there is no one to tell me when the ocean will begin. Your UMPI degree represents this movement from the obvious, from the clear atoms of our human air to the ocean of the unknown. As you go through life, I hope you continue to dive deep. Do not settle for the shallow waters of the easy path, but choose the depth where the unknown becomes possibility. Thank you.
Graduates, families, faculty, distinguished guests, before I introduce your commencement speaker, I want to take a moment to celebrate two people who some of you may have already heard acknowledged today, Sandra Govin and David Watson. Earlier this morning, in our first ceremony, UMPI had the honor of formally conferring honorary degrees upon both of them, our university's highest recognition, in acknowledgement of their extraordinary contributions to education and to this community. Please join me in one more round of applause for our honorary degree recipients, Sandra Govin and David Watson. It is now my privilege to introduce today's commencement speaker, a woman whose life's work has quietly and powerfully shaped the futures of hundreds of young people in this region. Sandra Sandy Govin is a name well known in Aroostook County, not because she has sought the spotlight, but because she has spent decades lifting others into theirs. A proud daughter of the county and a 1987 graduate of this institution, Sandy earned her Bachelor of Science in Elementary and Special Education here at UMPI, and later her Master's in Education from the University of New England. She then began a career that would span nearly 5 decades. For 25 years, she taught in the schools of Fort Fairfield, Presque Isle, and Mapleton, working primarily in special education at Fort Fairfield High School, Fort Fairfield Middle School, and Cunningham Middle School here in Presque Isle, and teaching reading at Mapleton Elementary School. In each of those classrooms, she instilled in her students the conviction that their dreams were worth pursuing and their home worth investing in. Yet her most enduring contribution was still to come. Together with her husband, Reynold, Sandy co-founded the Aroostook Aspirations Initiative, a nonprofit born of a hopeful and frankly radical idea that the young people of Aroostook County deserve every opportunity to pursue higher education and to build their futures right here in the county. Under her leadership as president, AAI supported over 600 Aroostook County graduates with scholarship funding, personalized mentoring, and programming and career readiness, leadership development, financial literacy, as well as personal growth, giving them not only financial assistance, but the confidence that comes from knowing someone believes in them. In 2019, Sandy and Ray began a collaboration with the Worthington Scholarship Foundation to bring its model to Aroostook County, a vision realized in 2023. Just last year, the partnership awarded 130 scholarships of $20,000 each, $2.74 million in a single year, making it one of the largest scholarship programs in Aroostook County. What most distinguishes Sandy, however, is neither the length of her resume nor the breadth of her service. From the Sister Mary O'Donnell Shelter for the Homeless to the Aroostook County Fund of the Maine Community Foundation, from co-founding the Wintergreen Arts Center to leading downtown revitalization in Presque Isle, from a $3.5 million capital campaign at NMCC, which honored her with its Eagle Award, to her decades in our region's classrooms. What distinguishes her is her unshakable faith in the young people of this area. She has spent a lifetime reversing the narrative of outward migration, not with slogans, but with scholarships, not with speeches, but with seats at the table, not by telling our youth to stay, but showing them why they might want to. Graduates, today you join the ranks of those Sandy has championed. You could not ask for a better guide into what comes next. Please join me in welcoming a proud daughter of Aroostook County, a beloved educator, a tireless advocate for the next generation, a friend, Sandy Govin.
Thank you, Dr. Rice. Now I'm going to charge you folks with pushing me through the door when this is over with, because my head is swelled up so much from that introduction, I don't think I'll be able to get through the door myself. Hi. You feeling happy? You feel like you've accomplished something? Yeah? Good for you, because you really have. Congratulations from the bottom of my heart. You know, many years ago, I was sitting right where you are, and I was receiving my hard-earned bachelor's degree from the University of Maine at Presque Isle, and I remember walking out this auditorium, and I was just kind of strutting my stuff, you know, and thinking, okay, I'm going to save all the kids I'm ever going to teach, and then I'm going to save the world. Well, I hope I saved some kids, and it's obvious I haven't saved the world yet. But one thing, at least I'm giving a speech instead of having to listen to one. My last educational gig was teaching reading at a local elementary school. And while I was doing that, I got the chance to become more familiar with the Dr. Seuss books. You're all familiar. You're not too young, right? You know them. Well, you know, my initial exposure to them was kind of surface level and, you know, the rhyming and stuff like that. But as I got to know them better, Dr. Seuss had a lot of messages in his books. And the more I read, the more respect and admiration I had, you know, for his works. And one of my favorite books by Dr. Seuss is, Oh, the Places You'll Go. I've given that book to high school graduates, college graduates, and even people who are retiring. And it's all about resilience, self-discovery, and managing the highs and lows of life, all of which are keys to success, whatever success means to you. So I just want to say to you, congratulations. Today is your day. You're off to great places. You're off and away. And you are on your way. Remember, every day belongs to you. You've worked hard to get to this place. You've had to make lots of decisions, and look where that's gotten you. You've used your brains, you've done your footwork, and now you've steered yourself in the direction that you chose. And now you even get to decide what your future success will look like for you. As you begin this leg of your journey, remember, because you have more education and more tools for success, you will be faced with many more challenges, many more decisions. But that's a good thing, because you know what you want. Or if you're not sure, you get to be the one who figures it out. Now you get to choose where you go from here. You get to define your success. Decide what you think will be a successful life. Don't let someone else define it for you. You are the one in control of your destiny. You've already built the foundation of a successful career, successful family life by getting a college degree. Now it's time for you to head to your future. Sadly, I shouldn't say sadly on a happy day like this, should I? Sadly, things won't always go your way. You're going to encounter problems, but don't hide from them. We all know that running away from problems is easy. It's facing them that's daunting. Just have confidence in yourself. Remember, you've come this far in your life. You've had experiences that have made you the person that you are. You faced up to problems and you've won. You've succeeded in getting a college degree. Not an easy task. Am I right? When problems do pop up and things don't quite happen as planned, don't give up. Take the time to analyze what went wrong. Don't look at problems as roadblocks. Look at them as learning experiences or opportunities. You can transform obstacles into success by reevaluating your goals, seeking feedback, viewing every challenge as a setup for a stronger comeback, and figuring out your options. This is how you build resilience, discover new strengths, and determine an alternate approach if you need one. As you find yourself having to assess your options as life goes on, be very cautious. Take the time to think things through. Make sure you're doing the right things for the right reasons and that you're not making a hasty decision. Don't be afraid to stick with an option that might not be popular, but that you know is right. Don't be afraid to ask for advice and listen to the experience of others. Use them as mentors. After all, they've probably been presented with the same sets of options that you now face, and they already know the pros and cons of each. Don't be afraid to ask questions or to speak your mind. And above all, do not be afraid to walk away from something that you know is not right. Now, you know as well as I do, you can't always predict what other people or circumstances will throw at you. Have you had any experience with that? Probably. You'll often have to find ways to work around these challenges. Life requires care, tact, and constant adjustments. Just know you have the ability to be flexible, step carefully, and navigate through rough times. But sometimes you get bogged down as you climb your way up your ladder of success, and when that happens, it's okay to want to be alone and think things through, process things. When that happens, go to a calming place. And one good place to go is in the vast openness of nature. Go for a walk. Go to camp. Go fishing. Breathe in the fresh air. But if you can't do this, just find a quiet spot somewhere. Somewhere, it could be in the corner of a room or on your bed or whatever. And just embrace the solitude. Quiet your mind. Rest and relax it. In silence and peace, the answers will usually come. Now, I got a question for you. Have you ever found yourself in a slump when you just don't seem to be getting anywhere? Raise your hands. Raise your hands if you've never been in a slump. Never been in a slump ever. Yeah, it says it all. Dr. Seuss calls it the waiting place. Don't worry, everybody's been there. The good news is you don't have to stay there. As a matter of fact, Don't stay there. Push yourself. Get up and face the issues, even if you don't feel like you have the energy or the spark to do it. Start doing some footwork. Begin moving again, doing something, no matter how small. Remember, you are a happening, confident person. Take action. Talk to positive people. Get a mentor, as I suggested. Read inspiring books. Listen to uplifting music. Scroll through motivational quotes, or just go out into the fresh air. The important thing is, get up and walk out of that waiting place. And as you walk out, steer away from toxic environments. Surround yourself with positive people who inspire you. Set small goals for yourself at first, and after meeting them successfully, set bigger goals. And maybe, just maybe, you could look at the waiting place not as where your life pauses, but where your life deepens. Another way to look at this is think of yourself as a picture on some film, okay? You think to yourself, I'm not stuck. I'm not lost. I'm developing. You know, the decisions you make may not always be the right ones. I mean, after all, you're human. But the best way to bounce back from making wrong life decisions is to accept the outcome. Forgive yourself, and that's a big one, forgive yourself. And take immediate action to minimize damages. Shift your mindset from regret to action. Treating the mistake as information to inform you of better choices. And when you need to make your new decisions, always compare your alternatives very carefully. Go through the pros and cons of each, figure out criteria that you can use to analyze your options, but always take into consideration your interests, your passion, and your situations. Now, I know that you've already been faced with difficult decisions. Some of you had to decide between working and getting a college degree, or maybe some combination of both. Or maybe you've been faced with the fact, how can you ever afford to pay for college education? That's a big one. Maybe you've had to figure out whether going to school at all right now is a good idea. You've had to weigh the long-term results against the short-term results. Some of you may have thought that getting a college degree would be much too hard for you, and you wondered if you should risk the chance of failure. Whatever the decisions you've had to make, you put a lot of thought into them. And it's taken a while for some of you, but you decided to move forward. You decided to follow your path. And look at you. You did it. You're happening. You made the right decisions. Good for you. As I've said, your success is all up to you. And as I look at this graduating class, I have no doubt that you will all succeed, whatever that means to each and every one of you. You've got the stuff. You're ready to face anything. So I would like you to all stand up if you're able. And if you can't, just get your big voices going, okay? So stand up. Groan. All right, I want you to join me in the last few lines of my speech. I'm off to great places. Today is my day. My mountain is waiting. I'm on my way. Again, congratulations and thank you.
Yes, you can sit down. Because now it is time for Provost Margison to make the presentation of the candidates for degrees. Please note that some in-person graduates will be wearing colored cords around their necks. Gold for summa cum laude, blue for magna cum laude, white for cum laude, red, white, and blue for a military veteran, and blue and gold combined for the senior class gift.
Members of the audience, we request that you do not take photos during this time as there is a professional photographer on site. Graduates, you will be given your wings as you receive your diplomas and exit down the ramp. Will the candidates for the degree of Master of Arts in Organizational Leadership please rise and come forward? Xavier Emond, Master of Arts in Organizational Leadership. Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Biology please rise and come forward? Right here. Paladin Garrett Wieden Gibson, Bachelor of Arts in Biology, cum laude. Zoe Lynn Stewart, Bachelor of Arts in Biology, summa cum laude. Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in English please rise and come forward? Jessica Lee Noyes, Bachelor of Arts in English. Gustavo Garcia Solis, Bachelor of Arts in English. Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in History and Political Science please rise and come forward? Nicholas A. Hammond, Bachelor of Arts in History and Political Science, magna cum laude. Christopher P. Dunbar, Bachelor of Arts in History and Political Science, summa cum laude. Daniel T. Campbell, Bachelor of Arts in History and Political Science, magna cum laude. Charles Robert LaRousse, Bachelor of Arts in History and Political Science. James Momo, Bachelor of Arts in History and Political Science. Megan Elaine Veglia, Bachelor of Arts in History and Political Science, summa cum laude. Jordan J. Neely, Bachelor of Arts in History and Political Science, magna cum laude. Zachary Sean Patterson, Bachelor of Arts in History and Political Science, magna cum laude. Christopher Lloyd Stewart, Bachelor of Arts in History and Political Science, summa cum laude. Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Psychology please rise and come forward? Michaela Jordan Waldrop, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, summa cum laude. Whitley Marie Green, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, cum laude. Catherine Rodriguez, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, summa cum laude. Tara Lynn King, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. Rainier Menendez Hernandez, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, summa cum laude. Amahi Halid Mohammed Ali Ubdallah, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. Dayanara Roman, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, summa cum laude. Christy Marie O'Neill, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. Dylan John Boycino, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, summa cum laude. Catherine Charlotte Ferreira, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, summa cum laude. Kylie S. McDougall, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, magna cum laude. Shannon Lee Batalis, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, summa cum laude. Maria Diaz Corona, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, magna cum laude. Paul Francis O'Neill, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, magna cum laude. Emma Catherine Campbell, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. Maria E. Day, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. Heather Lynn Blodgett, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. Yulisa Galdina Maya Orozco, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, summa cum laude. Lakizi Rochelle Covington, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, Human Services, Certificate, cum laude. Maria Emma Mendoza Carbonell, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, summa cum laude. Marcus Preston Harris, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, summa cum laude. Valerie Nicole Condon, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. Nakaya Hamlin, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. Courtney Nicole Allen, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, magna cum laude. Shanice Ashley Jade Wilson, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology and Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Criminal Justice, cum laude. Daniela Miranda Borges Soreva, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, summa cum laude. Chloe Nicole Hunter, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology. Wanjiro Kinuthia, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, cum laude. Megan Marie Buckholtz, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, cum laude. Gracelyn Kennedy Walsh, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, cum laude. Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Applied Science please rise and come forward? Peen? Emmanuel Peen, Bachelor of Applied Science and Associate of Arts in Liberal Studies, Management, Information Systems, and Project Management, magna cum laude. Stephanie Cepeda Pena, Bachelor of Applied Science, Political Science, summa cum laude. Kirk Terrence Jordan Jr., Bachelor of Applied Science Management, cum laude. Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Fine Arts please rise and come forward? Ryan Lemire, Bachelor of Fine Arts. Natalie Jane Kurisman, Bachelor of Fine Arts, magna cum laude. Peter Nathaniel Rogers, Bachelor of Fine Arts, magna cum laude.
Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Liberal Studies please rise and come forward? Janita Simone Collins, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Psychology, magna cum laude. Jonathan Charles Pfeiffer, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Business Administration, magna cum laude. Valerie Elaine King, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Management, cum laude. Kiana L. Davis, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Business Administration. Jordan Amwako Umfriye, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Management Information Systems. Chelsea Marie Case, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Education Studies, cum laude. Matthew Allen Temple, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Management Information Systems and Project Management, summa cum laude. Tyler Michael Ross, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Management Information Systems, summa cum laude. Christy Sarah Elise Zude Kovule, Bachelor of Arts in Liberal Studies and Associates of Arts in Liberal Studies, Business Administration Management and Project Management, summa cum laude. Felicity Brooke Wilkes, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Education Studies and Psychology, magna cum laude. Joseph A. Gray, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Healthcare Administration. Maria Zavala, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Management. Maeve Lynn Thompson, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Psychology, summa cum laude. Jared Marvin Easley, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Political Science. Vanya Green Bernardez, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Political Science, summa cum laude. Roger Dubé, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Pre-Law Studies, summa cum laude. David Michael McDonald, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Business Administration and Management, magna cum laude. Karina Jasmine Montez de Oca Bell, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Management, cum laude. Carlos R. Ramirez Hernandez, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Project Management, summa cum laude. Jeffrey Thomas Schrader, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Management Information Systems and Project Management, summa cum laude. Wendy Richardson, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Healthcare Administration and Psychology, summa cum laude.
My first name is Candia.
Candia Hainsworth, Bachelor of Liberal Studies and Associates of Arts in Liberal Studies, Management and Project Management, summa cum laude. Fare Seker, Bachelor of Liberal Studies and Associate of Arts in Liberal Studies, History, International Studies, Political Science, magna cum laude. Amanda Daniel, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Education Studies, Management and Psychology, magna cum laude. Corey Michael Steib, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Education Studies, magna cum laude. Hung Peng, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Political Science. Herbert Leon Thomas, Jr., Bachelor of Liberal Studies and Associate of Arts in Liberal Studies, Business Administration. Aragus Lunel Creech, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Criminal Justice, cum laude. Elijah Anthony Smith, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Educational Studies. Justin D. Furmanek, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Business Administration, Management, and Project Management, summa cum laude. Eric D. Murray, Jr., Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Management, Project Management, summa cum laude. Nelson C. Chow, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Management and Project Management, summa cum laude. Michael Canizero, Bachelor of Liberal Studies and Associate of Arts in Liberal Studies, Political Science and Psychology, summa cum laude. Adriana Kerbale, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Business Administration, summa cum laude. Maria de Lourdes Ramirez, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Business Administration and Project Management, summa cum laude. Jillian Sarag, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Education Studies, summa cum laude. Craig O. Ballard, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Management Information Systems, cum laude. Kimberly Masales, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Business Administration and Management. Rusty Patongdi, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Management and Political Science. Kimberly Dawn Lasorsa, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Management, summa cum laude. Elizabeth Sarah Chickering, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Education Studies. Clarice Laba, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Psychology and Project Management. Ruby Marin Morales, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Political Science, summa cum laude. Yolanda Delpy, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Business Administration Management, Management Information Systems, and Project Management, summa cum laude. Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Agricultural Science and Agribusiness please rise and come forward? Caitlin Elizabeth Cody, Bachelor of Science in Agricultural Science and Agribusiness, cum laude. Frankie Ann Pierce, Bachelor of Science in Agricultural Science, Agribusiness, summa cum laude. Anthony Poon, Bachelor of Science in Agricultural Science and Agribusiness, summa cum laude. Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Cybersecurity please rise and come forward? Orion Mead Gray, Bachelor of Science in Cybersecurity, cum laude. Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Mathematics please rise and come forward? Ian Ryan Sonderman, Bachelor of Science in Mathematics and Computer Science and Bachelor of Arts in Business Administration, magna cum laude. Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Accounting please rise and come forward? Sigrid Faith Cartagena, Bachelor of Arts in Accounting, summa cum laude. Kristen Chantel Matthewson, Bachelor of Arts in Business Administration, summa cum laude. Will the candidates for the degree of Applied Arts and Liberal Studies please rise and come forward? Alina Worth, Applied Arts and Liberal Studies, cum laude. Mia Shaw, Applied Arts and Liberal Studies. Paige Bossy, Applied Arts and Liberal Studies, magna cum laude. Amanda Nicholson, Applied Arts and Liberal Studies, summa cum laude. Alice Ziegler, Applied Arts and Liberal Studies, cum laude. Wendy Huo, Applied Arts and Liberal Studies, magna cum laude. Felix Lakin, Applied Arts and Liberal Studies. Will the candidates for the degree of Associates of Arts in Liberal Studies please rise and come forward? Maria Hernandez, Associate of Arts in Liberal Studies. Sydney Dawn Rockwell, Associate of Arts in Liberal Studies, magna cum laude. Sherilyn O'Neill Bernardo, Bachelor of Arts in Business Administration and Associate of Arts in Liberal Studies.
Will the graduates please rise? President Rice, I have the honor to present our students who have been judged by the faculty of the University of Maine at Presque Isle: Bachelor of Applied Science, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Fine Arts, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Bachelor of Science, and Associate of Arts. One addition, Master of Arts in Organizational Leadership.
It's like very formulaic. If you don't say that, like it magically just, I'm just joking. But by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of the University of Maine System and confirming the action of our faculty, I hereby grant unto you the appropriate degree of Masters of Organizational Leadership, Bachelor of Applied Science, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Fine Arts, Bachelor of Liberal Studies, Bachelor of Science, and Associate of Arts, together with all of the rights and privileges appertaining thereto. You may now move your tassels from the right side of your caps to the left side, signifying you are now college graduates. Or you may now be seated. Making sure Valerie's ready here. So it is now my great pleasure to introduce Valerie Elaine King, your student commencement speaker. Coming to UMPI all the way from Dallas, Texas, Valerie has distinguished herself as a student of remarkable determination and vision, returning to the classroom after 30 years to pursue her Bachelor of Liberal Studies with a minor in management. She has earned her degree cum laude with a 3.52 GPA, a testament to her perseverance in navigating new technology, new systems, and unfamiliar spaces with a faith louder than her fear. Following graduation, Valerie plans to continue on to her master's degree with her sights ultimately set on a doctorate, all while launching her nonprofit, Humble Beginnings, which will support individuals re-entering their communities after incarceration. Valerie.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon to the faculty who challenged us, the families who stood beside us, and to my fellow graduates who refused to give up. Today is more than a ceremony. It's evidence. It's evidence that resilience works. It's evidence that fear does not get the final word. It's also evidence that it's not too late to begin again. But it's also a receipt. It is a receipt for every tear that you wipe before starting your next paper, every late night you pushed through, every silent prayer that you said, God, just help me finish. The truth is, this degree cost you something. For me, it cost me my comfort. 30 years ago, I walked away from school. Life demanded my attention. Responsibilities came first. Somewhere between surviving and showing up for everyone else, my education became a closed chapter. 30 years. That's not a gap, that's a lifetime for some of us. 30 years. Yes, after 30 years, I made a decision to come back. But unfortunately, fear met me at the door. Education had changed. Everything was online. There was portals, there were passwords, there were uploads, discussion boards, and I wasn't even technology savvy. The first time I logged in, I didn't feel intelligent. Actually, I felt lost and intimidated. I remember staring at the screen thinking, maybe this was a mistake. I was older. I felt behind. I questioned if I could compete in rooms where everyone seemed to move faster, they typed quicker, and they understood sooner. But something inside of me refused to let fear win. So I did what many of you have done on your own journeys. I learned anyway. I asked questions anyway. I showed up anyway. And there were nights that I felt behind, and there was moments that I doubted myself. And there was times I had to balance responsibilities while others seemed to move effortlessly ahead. But then I remembered that progress does not belong to the fastest in the room. It belongs to the one who keeps going. So step by step, class by class, semester by semester, I kept going. So here I stand with you, graduating with my bachelor's degree, not because it was easy, not because I was the most prepared, but because I refused to quit. That is what today represents for all of us. Every graduate here has a story. Some of our stories are visible, others are carried quietly. Some of you worked full time, some of you raised families, some of you overcome setbacks that no one in the audience will ever see or fully understand. But you're here, and that's what matters. Because graduation is not about perfection, it's about persistence. It's about believing that growth is still possible, even when time has passed, even when fear whispers, even when you feel out of place, and you can believe you will be challenged again. Life will challenge us. There will be new rooms where we will feel unprepared, new responsibilities that will stretch us, and new seasons that will require courage. When that happens, remember this moment. Remember that you once walked into something that scared you and you conquered it anyway. Remember that becoming does not have an expiration date. Remember that the only real failure is deciding you're finished before you're done. Today is not just about earning degrees, it's about reclaiming belief. It's about proving that reinvention is real. It is about standing in front of doubt saying, you do not define me. It is about you. Class of 2026, whether you're 22 or returning after 30 years like I did, your story is still being written. If my journey has taught me anything, it is this: it's never too late. You're never too behind, and you're never too unfamiliar with tools to learn how to use them. So here we stand, stronger and wiser, proof that courage grows when we move forward anyway. If there is one truth that I would leave with you today, let it be this: the world does not belong to those who start early. It belongs to those who refuse to stop. Congratulations, graduates.
And now comes that moment during commencement that graduates always look forward to, the tossing of the caps. So what I'll do is I'll count down from 3 to 2 to 1. Yep, Ryan's like, oh, I've been waiting for this for 5 years. Anyway, so I'll count down from 3 to 2, 1, yell toss. So if you'd stand up. You don't have to do this if you're afraid of like bonking Professor Hodgkins on the head with your cap falling or something. But, so here we go. 3, 2, 1, toss. Nice. For the last time, graduates, you get to take your seats for the recessional. So members of the audience, please stay until the recessional is complete. This is where the platform party first, then the faculty, then the graduates march out of the gym. All of us will be around outside for anyone that would like to have a picture taken with the president or any of us, any of you. And all I can say is, can we have one big round of applause for all these amazing graduates and everything we heard? Okay, and with that, I'll leave you with, may the force be with you.